He's firing up the crowd. Tiana, I know you're out with a new piece for the Washington Examiner. It's titled, "If You Ran with Hamas's Hospital Lie, Never Again Complain About Fake News." Tell us more.
I mean, for the entire Trump administration, we were told that a dangerous scourge on society was disinformation, right? Entire corporate media outlets developed disinformation as a beat. The FBI countered the Hunter Biden laptop story in the name of combating disinformation. DHS has opened up an entire division to combat disinformation. And then suddenly, you run with the Hamas lie, right? The story never made sense from the start. The idea that Israel would wait more than 10 days before launching a ground assault into Gaza, just so that way innocent Palestinian civilians could be evacuated. Then they would bomb a Baptist hospital. It never made any sense, right? And then let's not forget the pure forensic evidence that the Pentagon has used, right? Not only this released call between Hamas operatives saying that the rocket fell into the hospital, Hamas announcing 10 minutes before the launch that they were going to send out a bomb. And yet everyone ran with it anyway, which goes to show where the priors are, not just of, outright genocidal congresswomen like Rashida Tlaib, who entered office with a map that erased Israel literally off the map, which goes to show what her end goal for the Jews is, right? She has a final solution. So
no wonder this fired up, the demonstrators. I mean, there are demonstrators everywhere. More than 300 pro-Palestinian demonstrators were arrested at the Capitol yesterday. The group swarmed the Cannon Rotunda. They're demanding a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, and then 3 people were charged with assaulting a police officer. I mean,
January 6th, right? Shouldn't we be having that response?
Yeah. I've been reliably informed that could get you 22 years in prison.
Yeah, definitely an insurrection.
Yeah. But I want to shout out the New York Post really quick. This cover explains exactly what Rashida Tlaib did yesterday on the steps of the Capitol. That was blood libel. She is going to get people killed. She is blaming Israel for killing innocent human beings. That is going to whip up anger and fervor against the Jewish people more than it already is. And she's doing it deliberately. She knows that she is spreading a lie. And yet her tweet blaming Israel for the hospital bombing is still up. And she has not apologized for it. She has not said, "Oh, no, I'm sorry." In fact, she ignored all questions from the press yesterday as she was leaving when they asked her, "What is your evidence? Why haven't you retracted this?" She knows what she's doing, and it is blood libel.
Which also goes to show how much the Palestinian cause in the abstract is really just about genocide of the Jews in practice. Because if you were really caring about the Palestinian people, Hamas is the #1 assailant of the Palestinian people. They are responsible for these innocent Palestinian children who, through no fault of their own, have been living in this third world hellhole. And they are the ones who are being barricaded in hospitals and civilian infrastructure on top of weapons stockpiles.
Well, I mean, did you see how they were manhandling babies and women at the start of this war?
It's
I mean,
horrific.
The pictures. It was so hard to watch the pictures of the babies online.
Yeah, and that's obviously the babies of Israel. Now there's likely several hundred potentially babies in the hospital as well. And Hamas just has a track record of using civilians as human shields. We know that. They hide behind them. They have their little bunkers underneath hospitals. That's what they do. But as far as Rashida Tlaib goes, look, it's one thing to run with a narrative. It's another to stand by that narrative when there is mounting evidence that proves that the opposite is true. We've seen the videos of Hamas making bombs out of water pipes that you kind of need.
Why they don't have clean water.
If you want to drink clean water, you need water pipes. We've seen that. We saw the Al Jazeera video where the rocket goes up into the sky and then turns around and comes back towards the hospital. We've seen all the evidence, and she will not admit that she was wrong, apologize, and get on the right side of the equation.
And she's firing up all of these people who are becoming demonstrators.
And you know what? Democrats, you own this.
Yeah.
Those are your party members. And I have yet to see a single Democrat in Congress call out AOC, Tlaib, Ilhan Omar for supporting Hamas openly, for spreading lies about Israel.
John Fetterman, of all people.
You own this, and you need to do something about it.
Yeah.
It's John Fetterman, of all people. I mean, again, it makes sense because he's happy to go after Menendez for being, an alleged Egyptian agent. But he's the only one that I've seen thus far calling out, saying there are members of our party who are right now being pro-Nazi. And yes, we are seeing already more synagogue attacks, not just in the U.S., but across the rest of the West. And the longer you continue to feed in this narrative, it's this hospital lie, which is why the Jordanians had the excuse to cancel their meeting with Biden.
Yeah.
So Biden looks like a schmuck traveling halfway around the world and gets stood up by the king of Jordan.
Yeah, well, but he still had, you know, his whole goal achieved, and that is to slow down the Israelis from their ground offensive, don't you think?
Yes. Oh, no, they bought time. That's what Blinken wanted.
Exactly.
It's why he called in Biden, because they just wanted to buy more time. But then what's the plan? Because something's got to give.
Yeah.
You got to get Egypt to open up the Rafah crossing, because if they don't, Israel will start their bombing campaign while civilians are in there, and they will be fully justified.
Yep. We are going to continue following this, of course.